Batman Under the Red Hood gives us the best look as to how Jason Todd's death affects Bruce Wayne and how it changes him for better and for worse. At the beginning of the movie, we see Jason Todd being beaten by the Joker. We cut to Batman being close to Jason's location. Back to Jason, we see the Joker leave and that he left a bomb counting down from 10. We cut back to the Bat just as... We then cut 5 years later. Red Hood is introduced to the movie by intimidating the heads of different mob factions in Gotham, saying that if they don't give him a 40% cut of all the money they make and stop peddling their filth to the kids, he will kill them all. Red Hood, protector of children. Who does that remind you of? We are then reintroduced to Batman, where we see a more violent version than we are used to, causing a crash with 3 thugs still inside of the truck. This is giving the audience a visual example of how Jason's death may still have effects on Bruce Wayne even 5 years later. After subduing the thugs and threatening to drop the Destroyer Mazo on top of them, Red Hood kills the thugs, causing Batman to chase after him, getting a head start on Nightwing. This is another way that Batman may have changed after Todd's death, putting himself in front of where the danger is, protecting his last son. After leading Batman to the site of where he accidentally created the Joker, we then see a flashback to that same event, giving perspective to all the mistakes that Batman had made throughout his vigilante career and the consequences of those mistakes coming back to bite him. The next part that should be brought up is the revival of Jason Todd. When we see his resurrection, it's different than how Ra's is brought back in popular media. Jason comes back angry and bloodlusted, almost like when he was resurrected there was a part of his mind missing at first. It should also be said that Jason was beginning to show signs of violence and anger later into his career as Robin. This can be seen in flashbacks where Jason is shown beating thugs to a pulp, causing Batman to be unable to interrogate them. With all that has happened to Jason, Batman bringing Jason to become one of his Robins, training him since he was just a boy, but what Bruce was never able to teach a second Robin was how to manage his emotions in a productive way. The way that Bruce was able to teach Dick, and the way that Alfred was able to teach him when he was the same age as Jason. Now this is one of my favorite moments from the whole movie, when Batman and Red Hood are taking on the fearsome Hand of 4, where after a majority of them are defeated, the last man standing takes a shot at Batman. Red Hood takes the shot for Batman, strengthening the idea that even though Jason is resentful towards Bruce, he still loves him like his own father. After learning that Ra's al Ghul was the one responsible for Jason's resurrection, which, on a random side note, is much better than having Superboy Prime being the one to punch a hole in the universe, which somehow brings him back to life. Anyway, to get back on track, Batman is interrogating Ra's in order to get all the details of what he did to Jason. But back in Gotham, we see that Black Mask has broken the Joker out of Arkham. But soon after, we see that the Joker gains control of the situation, has all the heads of all the different mob groups, including Black Mask himself, put in a truck and doused in gas. After the Joker and Red Hood have a brief fight, Batman interferes and saves the gang members trapped in the truck and attempts to take the Joker away from Red Hood, but fails as the Hood takes the line that Joker was connected to. Red Hood brings the Joker to Crime Alley, where Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. Batman meets Jason. Now, this is where everything comes together. Batman meets Red Hood on the top of a church where Batman loses his mask, and so, in turn, Red Hood takes his helmet off to reveal that he is Jason. While they continue to fight, Bruce tries to talk Jason down, saying that he learned what happened and that he can help. Jason decides to continue with his plan and says that he is a better Batman than Bruce could ever be. They continue to fight until Batman expresses through a wall why Jason will never be a better Batman than him. Bruce, then in a moment of love to his son, admits to his failure, not only letting Jason die, but allowing him to become the Red Hood. And then we get the most amazing part of this movie, the part where everything is tied together and motivations are revealed. Jason shows Bruce the beaten and bloody Joker, where Jason explains that he had forgiven Bruce for letting him die, and he was never the reason that he did everything that he did. Honestly, I don't think me explaining it does it justice, so I'm just gonna play this.
Bruce, I forgive you for not saving me. But why? Why on God's earth is he still alive?
Gotta give the boy points. He came all the way back from the dead to make this shindig happen. So, who's got a camera? Ooh, get one of me and the kid first. Then you and me, then the 3 of us. and then one with the crowbar. Then...
You be as quiet as possible, or I'll put one in your lap first.
Party pooper. No cake for you.
Ignoring what he's done in the past. Blindly, stupidly disregarding the entire graveyards he's filled. The thousands who have suffered. The friends he's crippled. You know, I thought I'd be the last person you'd ever let him hurt. If it had been you that he'd beat to a bloody pulp, if he had taken you from this world, I would have done nothing but search the planet for this pathetic pile of evil death-worshipping garbage. And send him off to hell!
You don't understand. I don't think you've ever understood.
What? What, your moral code just won't allow for that? It's too hard to cross that line?
No! God Almighty, no! It'd be too damned easy. All I've ever wanted to do is kill him. A day doesn't go by when I don't think about subjecting him to every horrendous torture he's dealt out to others, and then end him.
Aw, so you do think about me.
But if I do that, if I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
Why? I'm not talking about killing Penguin, or Scarecrow, or Dent. I'm talking about him. Just him. And doing it because he took me away from you.
I can't.
Just to throw another side tangent into the mix, Jensen Ackles and Bruce Greenwood absolutely kill in this moment. These two masterclass voice actors make you feel the pain and the suffering that Jason and Bruce have been through, along with their perspectives on the situation at hand. Put yourself in Jason's shoes for just a moment. Imagine the person you saw as a father figure, the man who took you in from living on the street and saved you, the person who trained you to become the very best version of you. And then the same person allows the man who killed and tortured you to be put back in the same prison where a baby could break out of. It's not hard to see Jason's perspective, especially when Jason goes into detail about every evil and torturous thing the Joker has done. And then we get Bruce's perspective. This is the most evil, rotten pile of human waste who took his son away from him. In one of the most violent ways possible, anyone could understand wanting to end him, but Batman chooses to leave the Joker alive. Because if he ever crosses that line, he believes there's no going back, and he'll become just like the Joker, an evil, monstrous murderer. Jason stands firm in his belief that his perspective is the correct, and that he needs to force Bruce's hand to kill Jason and save the Joker, or for Bruce to allow Jason to kill the Joker. Batman chooses option 1. He dodges a bullet like a badass and clogs up Jason's left skull. Jason pulls out Plan Z, where he arms a stack of C4 in order for all three of them to die in the explosion, leaving the idea that Jason has no plans beyond this point in his life. After his resurrection, he has led his life to this point, and as it all fails, he gives up trying to take the Joker and Bruce with him. Joker decides that this is perfect and tries to stop Batman from disarming the device, leaving him not enough time to disarm the bomb, so Bruce saves his son and leaves the Joker around. In a symbolic way, saving Jason from the way that he died the first time, while also showing that he would choose his son over anything. In the final moments of the movie, we see Bruce remembering when Jason was first starting out his life, showing how innocent and full of life Jason was. Then we fade to where Jason's uniform is in the present, showing how tortured and traumatized Jason has become, as we see Bruce contemplating his failure with Jason. Jason's final line in the movie being, "This is the best day of my life." We now know that this is the beginning of the end for Jason, the beginning of all of his trauma and pain that would lead him to become the next big bad for Batman. If I had to summarize this movie in one sentence, it would be how failure affects people. Examples of failure are scattered throughout this movie, like Bruce failing to save Jason at the beginning, and Jason failing to have Bruce kill either him or the Joker. But in Bruce's case, we see by the end of the movie that he has decided to remember Jason as he was and not who he became, then moving on in his life to the best of his abilities while still being scarred from what happened to Jason.